My name is Valerie Trinity, and I'm so excited that you're here right now listening to this information because in this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to get your identity back and how it will bring balance in your life, self confidence, and really help every area of your life to move forward. So before I dive into this information, if you can take a moment to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and sign up for notifications because every week I will be dropping new videos and I will be doing bonus videos throughout the week as well. Videos that will show you how to elevate your mind, your soul, your banking account, your credit, every area of your life. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about identity. So when I ask you, what is your identity? What do you first come up with? So a lot of times people will say things like, I'm a mom, I'm a grandmother, I'm a manager, I'm a nurse, I'm a golfer, right? I'm a leader, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a homeowner, right? They will come up with things to say that they identify with, right? And so in our life is like a box full of elements, and all of the things that we identify with are the elements in our life. So if you had your life in a box in front of you and you looked inside that box and you saw all of those elements, what are the things that you see? Okay, so all of the elements are things that make up your life. Your friends can be in there, your significant other can be in there, your career, your kids, your hobbies, maybe side hustles, really anything that makes up your life, and all of those elements will be in that box. Now, the issue that we come across sometimes is that although we might have a box full of tons and tons of elements of our life, some of those elements may be like to the corner that some things that we haven't even touched on in years, right? Or maybe you're looking in this box of elements and really not seeing much of. Maybe you're like, shoot, I don't have many elements, right? Maybe you're looking at this like no worries either if that's the situation that you're in right now, but maybe you're looking at this box like I only have a couple of things, right? And this happens a lot, so where I can see this happen for examples is, let's say that you're a mom. You've been a mom for like over 20 years and your last child just moved out to college and you have an empty house now. And you may be crumbled, right? You may be in a situation where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with myself, right? Because maybe you have made, the past 20 years really all about your kids, and I congratulate you because it's a lot, right? But maybe you have really just put everything kind of aside in your life, taking care of yourself, self-care, businesses, work, relationships, friends, hobbies. Maybe you kind of put everything off to the side so you could be a mom full time, right? Or maybe like, maybe you did work, or maybe you did have a significant other, but really the majority of your time and your passion this whole time was raising kids, doing the day in, the day out, and making sure that, lunches and dinners and rides and games and all that stuff, right? Preparing them for life. And now you're like, you don't know what to do with yourself, right? Maybe you're in a situation like that. And maybe it's not you being like, a mom. Maybe you are somebody who, you've given all you could to your job, right? Maybe you're a female who has given everything to her career. Maybe it's your life, right? Maybe like you clock in, you clock out. When you clock out, you're home, you're doing Zoom meetings, you're preparing networking events, you're having dinners with people in your career, in your job, you're doing things like that. So you're constantly in your mind constantly giving all of your energy and your time into your career. And maybe you have, your husband or something like that, or a significant other, or some other things that you might give a little bit of time to, but for the most part, your career is your whole life. And let's say, you lose that career, right? It goes. Let's say the job fires you, right? It happens all the time. They got to lay people off. What do you think that somebody in a situation like that, that made that career their number one and full-time element of their life, it's like literally being thrown off a cliff. It's literally crumbling. It's overwhelming. You don't know what to do with yourself, right? It's literally like you're standing on two pillars of life. Like if you have two major elements, and it's like the higher you go in these pillars, the more wobbly it gets. You can't feel secure. You can't feel safe, stable. You can't feel safe, because if one of those pillars falls, you're falling. Your life is falling, right? And so I want us to move more towards a life of elements where we have many elements in action, many elements going in momentum and rolling, right? So, like, let's say you're a gentleman and you're like, you know what? Every morning I wake up early, I go to the gym. I have that element going. I'm always doing personal development, reading books when I go to work. I have that going. I have my job and my career. I have my girlfriend, right? I make sure that I spend quality time with my girlfriend, 3 times a week. I make sure on Friday nights, me and my friends, we have, our Friday nights, we go to watch the game at the bar. We go to play pool. I make sure that I go and play basketball or go see my mother or visit my family on Sundays. We have dinners and stuff like that. Like somebody who has all of these elements going. Now, if something happened to him, let's say his girlfriend broke up with him, will that affect him? Yes, of course, right? But it won't be so much falling off a cliff. It will be more like a little ditch or a little hole or a little rut, right? Where, yeah, he will be upset. It will like cause a little, riff in his life, but his bounce back it'll be easier, right? It'll be easier because he has all these other elements going in his life. So that's where we want to get to. We want to get to the point in our life where we have all of these other elements that are active, that we're making time for, right? Because ultimately, what's going to happen when we get to that level, we stop feeling more secure in our life. We're not the ones, staying up all night worrying if we lose this or we lose that or whatever, right? We know that we have so many things going, right? We have more fulfilled life. We feel more balanced. We feel more confident, right? We feel like the structure of our life and the foundation of our life is really strong, right? And really what happens in a situation like that is we actually get better and more productive in all of those elements, right? Because we start to appreciate quality over quantity, right? If we can make some, if we're not, if we were once, constantly with our significant other all the time, all the time, all the time, and now we start making time for other things, now the time that we spend with our significant other is going to be more appreciated. It's going to be more quality over quantity. We're going to really appreciate each other, right? When we're, let's say we have our business, right? If we're like, you know what, I got to scale back a little bit to make more time for this, to make more time for that. Now, when we do spend time, at our business, we're going to make sure that time is very valuable, right? We're going to make sure we got quality in that time. And it's going to make us more productive. It's definitely going to make us more productive. And in a situation like this, we have less burnout. We have less burnout, right? So are you making time? Are in your box of elements, do you have time for hobbies? Do you have me time, right? Do you have enough time for your significant others, or your, maybe you don't have a relationship right now, but if you were to have one, will you have a little bit of time for that? Do you have time for your kids? Are you really spending time, quality time with your kids? Maybe you're really not. But if you're like, you know what, for 3 hours a week, I'm going to spend uninterrupted time with my kids. That means no phone, no TV, no nothing. Let me tell you something. Those are going to be very, very amazing quality times with your kids because they're going to be uninterrupted because you're going to carve out that time. All right. So now that I've said that, here are, 5 steps that I want you to take, right? So the first step is I want you to get a piece of paper and be honest with yourself with this, right? Get a piece of paper and either draw a box and write all of your elements in there or just go line by line writing down your elements, right? In your life. And write down the ones that are in your life and write down the ones that aren't currently in your life but you want in your life, right? So you're going to write all these elements down. And then once you do that, step 2 is I want you from a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to write a number next to each element. 1, well, actually 0. 0 means I haven't started this element yet. I want to add this into my life. All the way to 10, and 10 is like I make time for this like every single day or every single week. This is definitely an element that is in momentum, that is working, maybe a little too much, right? So you want to go from 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, I'm sorry, for all of these elements, right? And then I want you to analyze it, right? So number 3, I want you to stop and I want you to analyze. In these elements, which ones? Look at the zeros, the ones, the twos, the threes, the 4s. I want you to look and say to yourself, which ones do you really want to start up in your life? Like ASAP. Identify, put a star next to the ones that you want to start off with that are really important, that you start to gain momentum with and you start to bring them into your life either again or, for the first time. Number 4, now I want you for the next 30 days to pick one of those elements that you want to add back into your life or add into your life. One of the elements for the next 30 days. Now you're going to schedule this into your life, right? Either daily, weekly, maybe every other day, whatever you feel like is a good amount of time for you to get this rolling into your life, to grow into your life, right? For the next 30 days, you're going to schedule it either on your Google Calendar or on your planner or your things to do list or your phone, your reminders on your phone. And I want you to consistently make time for this element. Now, if you're saying, I don't have the time, I want you to stop. Be truthful to yourself. Where can you carve out the time? Because you definitely have time, right? So, what are you spending too much time on that you can carve back, right? What about other things that may be taking, like distractions, taking you, right? It could be, and there's nothing wrong with this, but let's start to think TV, social media. A half an hour on social media, scrolling through Facebook or whatever, can go by very quick, all right? Fast. Like you're like, wow, I thought I just came out like a half an hour has gone by, right? So social media, this is, kind of being more intentional with your time. Maybe you got to wake up a little earlier, right? Maybe you got to go to bed a little earlier to wake up earlier. How can you carve out enough time to get this going into your life? Okay. And then for the next, 30 days, I want you to play this out. And then step 5 is analyze. After 30 days, I want you to analyze, what did this do to your life for the last 30 days? How did it improve your life? Right? Because I guarantee you, you're going to feel more confident. You're going to feel more safe within your life. You're going to feel like, what's my next element? I guarantee you're going to be motivated to get another ball rolling. You're going to be motivated to start to make time for other things, right? So I guarantee you, at the end of 30 days, if you do this, you're going to feel, more like in control of your life. And trust me, if something is at a loss, once you have all of your elements rolling and you have plenty of things going and a nice little balance, your bounce back will be quicker. You will feel more confident in your life. You will feel more fulfilled in your life. Your identity is going to be so much more vivid and so much more alive. So, With that being said, we have homework to do. So please, if you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like. It helps me. And please, if you have not subscribed yet or you have not turned on your notifications, please do so. And if you follow this for the next 30 days, please let me know which element do you plan on working on for the next 30 days. And in 30 days, if you could follow back with me and comment and let me know, how did it work? How did you feel? Because I really, really want to get feedback on how you have grown throughout this next 30 days. And hopefully 30 days after that, you will have another element going and your identity will be a-okay. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.